The woman sitting on the curb was worth $800 million. But she couldn't remember her own name. 17-year-old Jamal Washington has $37 to his name and 3 days to help his mom make rent. The last thing he needs is to get involved with a confused stranger in downtown Chicago, especially when he's already late for the college fair that might be his only shot at a future. But something about her stops him cold. She's clutching a leather portfolio like her life depends on it, rain soaking through a coat that probably costs more than his family makes in 6 months. Business executives in $1,000 suits step around her like she's invisible. "Ma'am, are you okay?" She looks up with frightened eyes. I'm supposed to be somewhere important, but I can't remember where." What happens next will change both their lives forever. But neither of them sees it coming. If Jamal had known what this Tuesday would bring, he might have stayed in bed. But at 5:30 a.m., his phone buzzes with the same nightmare that's been haunting his family for weeks. The landlord called again. "Need $400 by Friday or we're out." The text from his mom hits harder than his alarm clock ever could. Jamal stares at the cracked ceiling of their one-bedroom apartment, doing math that never adds up. His part-time job at the auto shop pays $12 an hour when there's work. 20 hours a week if he's lucky. 40 hours if miracles were real. His younger sister Maya sleeps on the pull-out couch 3 feet away, her acceptance letter to community college taped above her pillow like a prayer. Tuition due in 3 weeks. Nursing program. Maya's dream since she was 8 years old, watching their mom come home exhausted from double shifts at the hospital saying, "Someone's got to take care of people, baby. Might as well be us." But dreams cost money they don't have. Jamal rolls off his floor mattress quietly, careful not to wake Maya. The apartment feels smaller every day. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a kitchen barely big enough for 2 people to stand. The radiator clanks like it's dying, which it probably is. Their neighbor's TV bleeds through walls so thin they might as well be cardboard. In the kitchen, Jamal makes 2 pieces of toast and splits them 3 ways. Breakfast for him and Maya. Mom's already gone. Started her shift at 4 a.m. because Tuesday mornings are when they prep surgical instruments, and someone's got to be there early. Walking to school, Jamal passes the coffee shop where he applied last month. Through the window, he sees the manager who said, "We'll call you," with the kind of smile that means don't hold your breath. 3 other places gave him the same polite rejection. Too young. No experience. Not the right fit. The right fit. Like poverty is a choice. At school, Jamal's stomach growls through first-period history. By lunch, he's dizzy with hunger, but he splits his sandwich with Devin anyway. Devin's mom lost her job last week, laid off from the factory where she'd worked for 15 years. "Man, you barely got enough for yourself," Devin protests, but Jamal just shrugs. "We both gotta eat, right?" It's automatic kindness, learned from watching his mom somehow always find room for one more at their dinner table. Even when dinner was ramen noodles with hot sauce to make them taste like something. After school, Jamal takes 2 buses to Rodriguez Auto Repair. Miguel pays him under the table, $12 an hour to learn skills that might actually matter someday. Today, they're rebuilding a transmission on a 2007 Honda Civic. The engine bay is cramped, greasy, nothing like the sleek cars Jamal sketches in his notebook margins. "You got good hands, kid," Miguel says, watching Jamal work. "Natural mechanic, but you're thinking too big a picture. Focus on what's right in front of you." Miguel doesn't understand that Jamal can't stop thinking about the big picture. He has to. Because if he focuses on what's right in front of him, bills, hunger, his mom's exhausted face, he'll drown in it. Instead, Jamal dreams about designing cars that working families can actually afford. Reliable engines that don't break down every 6 months. Fuel-efficient systems that don't eat up grocery money. Cars built for people like his mom, who drives a 15-year-old Corolla with 200,000 miles and prays it starts every morning. Miguel finds Jamal watching YouTube videos about automotive engineering during break. "College boy dreams?" Miguel teases, but not meanly. "Just remember, dreams don't pay rent." Home by 8 p.m., Jamal helps Maya with calculus while their mom works her night shift. Maya's brilliant, straight A's, acceptance to 3 nursing programs, but only one offers financial aid, and even that leaves them short. I could take a gap year, Maya says quietly, eraser shavings scattered across her homework. Work full-time, save up money. No, Jamal's voice is firm. You're going to college. We'll figure it out. But lying on his floor mattress that night, Jamal isn't sure how. He stares at his phone's cracked screen, scrolling through classmates' Instagram posts. Spring break trips to Florida. New cars for Sweet 16. College acceptance parties with cakes that probably cost more than his family's weekly grocery budget. He doesn't feel jealous exactly, just tired. Tired of wearing the same 3 shirts to school. Tired of declining invitations because he can't afford movies or pizza. Tired of being grateful for hand-me-downs while watching other kids complain about getting the wrong color iPhone. But quitting isn't in his vocabulary. His mom raised him to believe that character matters more than circumstances. That doing the right thing still counts, even when nobody's watching. Even when the right thing doesn't pay bills or fill empty stomachs. Tuesday morning brings unexpected rain, soaking through Jamal's only jacket before he's walked 2 blocks. By the time he reaches downtown Chicago for the college fair, a school requirement for his AP English class, he's drenched and self-conscious. He checks his reflection in a store window, wrinkled shirt, damp hair, scuffed shoes. The college representatives will be polished, professional, used to kids who arrive in cars instead of on buses. Fake it till you make it, he whispers to himself. It's his mom's mantra, repeated every morning like a prayer. What Jamal doesn't know is that this particular Tuesday will prove his mom right in ways he never imagined. The scene that stopped Jamal in his tracks was one most people would pretend not to see. Walking past the prestigious Morrison Financial District, Jamal notices her immediately. An elderly white woman sits on the curb between 2 towering office buildings, looking completely out of place. Her silver hair is disheveled, mascara smudged down her cheeks, but her clothes scream wealth. Chanel suit, Italian leather shoes, a Hermes purse clutched tightly in her lap. The rain has intensified, creating a curtain between her and the stream of business professionals hurrying past. Steam rises from manholes, mixing the smell of wet concrete with expensive coffee from the lobby cafe 20 feet away. She's sitting directly under a construction scaffold, partially sheltered but still getting soaked. And everyone is pretending she doesn't exist. A man in a $3,000 suit sidesteps around her, phone pressed to his ear. "The Hartwell merger needs to close by noon," he barks, not even glancing down. A woman in designer heels notices, frowns with obvious distaste, and quickens her pace like confusion might be contagious. 2 security guards from the nearby lobby are having a heated discussion, pointing in her direction. Neither wants to deal with the situation. It's not their job. Someone else's problem. Always someone else's problem. Jamal slows his pace, torn. He's already running 20 minutes late for the college fair, and his guidance counselor emphasized how crucial first impressions are with admissions officers. His wet clothes aren't helping his confidence. The woman could be homeless, mentally ill, dangerous, all the things his mom warns him about in the city. But she keeps looking around desperately, like she's lost in her own city. Her movements remind him of his grandmother before she passed, proud but confused, trying to maintain dignity while the world spins too fast around her. "Excuse me, ma'am?" Jamal's voice is gentle, non-threatening. He crouches to her eye level, ignoring the puddles soaking through his already damp jeans. Up close, he notices details others missed. Her hands are shaking, not from cold, but from genuine fear. Her leather portfolio is expensive, but shows wear. This isn't someone posing for attention. I'm supposed to be somewhere," she says, voice barely audible over traffic noise. "But I can't remember where, or how I got here." Her eyes darted between faces in the crowd, searching for something familiar. "Everyone keeps walking past like I'm invisible." "You're not invisible," Jamal says firmly. What's your name? She hesitates, pressing fingers to her temple like she's trying to squeeze out memories. Ellen, I think. Yes, Ellen. Ellen Crawford. The name comes out uncertain, like she's testing how it sounds. A gust of wind blows rain directly under the scaffold, soaking them both. Ellen starts to stand but wobbles dangerously. Jamal catches her elbow, steadying her against the concrete pillar. Whoa, easy. When's the last time you ate something? Her silence is answer enough. A city bus pulls up at the nearby stop, exhaust mixing with rain to create a toxic cloud. Ellen starts coughing, harsh, wheezing sounds that speak to delicate health and expensive medical conditions. I need to get inside, she manages between coughs. But I can't remember where I belong. Jamal checks his phone. 10:15 a.m. The college fair started 15 minutes ago, and he knows the good booths get crowded early. Northwestern, University of Illinois, even community colleges that might offer him a chance, they're all there right now, meeting with students who showed up on time, students who look the part. This might be his only opportunity to talk to admissions counselors face to face, to prove he's more than his circumstances, to change everything. But Ellen is shivering now, and her confusion seems to be getting worse. She keeps patting her purse like she's looking for something specific but can't remember what. Her breathing is shallow, rapid. Come on, Jamal says, standing and offering his arm. Let's get you somewhere warm and figure this out. She looks up at him with such gratitude that it breaks his heart a little. How long has she been sitting here? How many people walked past without a second glance? As they walk toward the nearest cafe, Ellen suddenly stops and looks directly at him. For just a second, her eyes clear completely. Sharp, intelligent, focused. You have kind eyes, she says with startling certainty. Just like my grandson would have had. Then the confusion returns like fog rolling in, but something in her tone suggests this moment of clarity was important. More important than Jamal realizes. He notices her portfolio has a logo embossed in gold, Crawford Industries, but the name doesn't ring any bells, just another company in a city full of them. What he doesn't notice is the way Ellen's grip tightens on that portfolio when she says her grandson's name, or how her other hand instinctively reaches for something in her coat pocket, something small and silver that catches the light for just a moment before disappearing again. Some moments change everything. This is one of them. What happened next would be replayed on security cameras across 3 buildings. Jamal guides Ellen into Cornerstone Cafe, an upscale spot where coffee costs more than his lunch budget. The hostess, a blonde woman in her 20s with perfectly applied makeup, gives them a look. Wet teenager, confused elderly woman, not exactly their usual clientele. But Jamal doesn't flinch. Table for 2, please. Somewhere quiet. He speaks like he belongs here. Confidence learned from watching his mom handle dismissive receptionists at the hospital, from years of refusing to let circumstances dictate his worth. The hostess hesitates, then leads them to a corner booth away from the main dining area. Damage control. Jamal orders Ellen hot tea and a blueberry muffin, using most of his lunch money without hesitation. She wraps her hands around the warm ceramic cup, and color slowly returns to her pale cheeks. Better? He asks. She nods, some of the fear leaving her eyes. You're very kind. Jamal texts his guidance counselor. Running late, family emergency. We'll be there soon. The lie comes easily. This feels like family now. While Ellen sips her tea, Jamal gently examines her leather portfolio. The clasp is silver, heavy, and expensive. Inside, architectural plans for what looks like a massive development project, financial documents with numbers that have way too many zeros, and business cards from law firms he's seen on billboards around the city. Everything bears the same logo, Crawford Industries. Ellen, do you recognize any of these papers? Jamal asks carefully, not wanting to overwhelm her. She studies them like they're written in a foreign language, brow furrowed in concentration. Meeting. There was supposed to be a meeting. Very important. Her voice gains strength as fragments return. Something about children? Schools? Ellen's purse contains a high-end smartphone, latest iPhone, gold case, but it's password protected. The screen keeps lighting up with incoming calls, numbers listed as boardroom, security, and David assistant. Looks like people are looking for you, Jamal observes. Ellen stares at the phone like it might bite her. On his cracked screen, Jamal Googles Crawford Industries Chicago. His weak data connection loads results slowly, but his eyes widen as information appears. Major real estate developer, billion-dollar company. Recently in the news for a massive affordable housing project. The CEO's photo loads last. A confident businesswoman in her early 70s, silver hair perfectly styled, standing in front of a groundbreaking ceremony banner. Ellen Crawford, Jamal says gently, showing her the search results. Does this look like you? Ellen stares at the photo, at herself, confusion and recognition warring on her face. That's me, she whispers, touching her disheveled hair self-consciously. But I look so together. Ma'am, I think you might be having a medical episode, Jamal says carefully. Confusion, memory problems. We should get you to a doctor. Ellen grabs his wrist with surprising strength. No hospitals, she says urgently. They'll say I can't. The fear is back, sharp and desperate. The project. Today's vote decides everything. Thousands of families need those apartments. Through patient questioning, Jamal pieces together fragments. Ellen was supposed to present the final proposal for an $800 million affordable housing development to the city council at noon. Without her signature and testimony, the project dies. The land gets sold to luxury condo developers instead, 2,400 families, gone. Jamal calls the number labeled David Assistant from Ellen's phone. This is Ellen Crawford's phone, he says when a frantic voice answers. She's safe, but she needs help. The relief in David Chang's voice is audible. We've had security looking everywhere. The board meeting started an hour ago and Mrs. Crawford never showed. The council members are threatening to postpone the vote. She's having some kind of memory issue, Jamal explains. But she's okay. Where should we meet you? David arrives in a company car within 10 minutes. A kind-faced man in his 30s with worry lines etched deep around his eyes. He rushes into the cafe like Ellen is his own grandmother. Mrs. Crawford, thank God, he breathes, sliding into the booth beside her. But Ellen still looks fragile, uncertain. I don't think I can do this, David, she admits. I can't remember the numbers, the talking points. What if I help? Jamal suggests, surprising himself. Both Ellen and David stare at him. I've been studying the papers while we wait, Jamal continues. The project houses 2,400 families, creates 800 construction jobs, includes on-site childcare and a medical clinic. Financing comes from a combination of municipal bonds and private investment at 3.2% interest. Ellen's eyes widened. You really understand this? Jamal nods. My mom's a single parent. We've lived in substandard housing our whole lives. This project, it's not just business, it's hope. Something in his tone seems to center Ellen, reminding her why this matters. Why did she build her company from nothing 40 years ago? David drives them to City Hall in the company Mercedes, leather seats and climate control, a sharp contrast to the city buses Jamal usually rides. During the 15-minute trip, Jamal reviews key points with Ellen, his natural teaching ability helping her regain focus. You built this company from nothing, he reminds her. That knowledge is still there. Just trust yourself. Ellen's confidence grows with each passing block. By the time they reach City Hall's imposing limestone steps, she's sitting straighter, speaking clearly, remembering details that matter. At the entrance, Ellen stops and takes Jamal's hands in both of hers. I don't know why you helped me, she says, tears threatening. But you didn't just save me. You saved this entire project. 2,400 families will have homes because of what you did today. Jamal shrugs, embarrassed by the intensity of her gratitude. Just doing what's right. David escorts Ellen inside while Jamal waits on the massive stone steps, finally checking his phone. 17 missed calls from his guidance counselor. The college fair ended an hour ago. His mom texted asking why he wasn't in school. The weight of consequences starts settling in. He missed his chance. The one opportunity to talk face-to-face with admissions counselors to prove he's college material despite his circumstances. But looking up at City Hall's towering columns, watching Ellen disappear through doors that lead to decisions affecting thousands of lives, Jamal knows he'd make the same choice again. Some things matter more than personal advancement. Some moments define who you really are. This was one of them. The business card Ellen pressed into his palm would change everything. If only he knew what it meant. 45 minutes later, Ellen emerges from City Hall with David and several board members, looking completely transformed. Her hair is neat, her posture confident, and she's speaking animatedly about construction timelines and community impact. The vote passed unanimously. The affordable housing project is approved. 2,400 families will have safe, affordable homes. Ellen approaches Jamal with tears in her eyes, her whole demeanor radiating gratitude and something else. Something that looks almost like recognition. Because of you, thousands of families will have a future, she says, voice thick with emotion. How can I possibly repay that? She pulls out her checkbook, leather-bound, expensive, and starts writing. But Jamal immediately steps back. I don't want money. The words come out firm, definitive. I helped because it was the right thing to do, not for a reward. Ellen looks genuinely surprised. In her world, everything has a price. Everyone wants payment. She slowly closes the checkbook, studying Jamal's face like she's seeing him for the first time. David watches the exchange with obvious interest. Most people would have called 911 and moved on, he observes. Or worse, ignored the situation completely. You stayed. You listened. You cared enough to understand what was really at stake. Jamal shifts uncomfortably. He's not used to such direct praise. Anyone would have done the same thing. No, Ellen says quietly. They wouldn't have. And they didn't. She reaches into her portfolio and pulls out a business card. Not hers, but someone else's. The cardstock is heavy, expensive, slightly worn from handling. She stares at it for a long moment before looking up at Jamal. This belongs to someone very special to me, she says, her voice soft with old grief. Someone who would have liked you very much. The card reads, Jonathan Crawford, Automotive Design Engineer, Crawford Innovation Labs. Jonathan was my grandson, Ellen explains, pressing the card into Jamal's palm along with something else. A small silver keychain shaped like a wrench engraved with the initials JC. He died in a car accident 3 years ago. He was brilliant, designing safer, more efficient vehicles for everyday families, not just luxury buyers. He would have been about your age now. Ellen's eyes search Jamal's face, and something in her expression shifts. Recognition. Wonder. Like she's seeing a ghost. He always said the future of automotive wasn't in making cars faster or flashier, but in making them accessible to working families, she continues. He had such plans. Designs for electric vehicles that cost less than gas cars, safety systems that could save thousands of lives. She trails off, still studying Jamal with that intense, almost mystical focus. You have his eyes, kind but determined. And when you explained the housing project back there, she shakes her head. It was like hearing Jonathan speak. The same passion for helping people, the same understanding of real problems. David checks his watch and approaches. Mrs. Crawford, the board is waiting in the car. The celebration lunch. Ellen nods but doesn't move immediately. Jamal, she says carefully, what do you plan to do after high school? College, hopefully, Jamal answers honestly. Maybe study automotive engineering. I work at an auto shop now, and I love figuring out how things work, how to make them better. But college is expensive, and my family... He doesn't finish the sentence, but Ellen understands perfectly. Jonathan went to MIT, she says casually, like she's commenting on the weather. Full scholarship. He always said the best engineers come from backgrounds where they understand real problems, not just theoretical ones. She pauses meaningfully. I wonder what he would think of your potential. As Ellen walks toward the waiting car, a sleek black Mercedes with tinted windows, she turns back one more time. Jamal, hold on to that card. And the keychain. Sometimes the most important things come when we least expect them. There's something in her tone, not quite secretive, but definitely significant. Like she's planting seeds she expects to grow. David approaches Jamal privately while Ellen settles into the car. Mrs. Crawford doesn't usually share Jonathan's things with anyone, he says quietly. In 3 years, you're the first person she's given something of his to. That means something important. Something big. Before Jamal can ask what, David hurries after Ellen. Alone on the City Hall steps, Jamal examines the business card and keychain. The address listed is for an industrial complex across town, somewhere he's never been. But the keychain feels warm in his palm, substantial, like it carries weight beyond its size. And something about Jonathan's photo on the card, the confident smile, the intelligent eyes, makes him feel like he's supposed to understand something important, something that's just beyond his reach. As he finally heads toward school, Jamal has no idea that Ellen is already making calls from the back seat of her car, setting wheels in motion that will change his life forever. 3 phone calls Ellen made that afternoon would set off a chain reaction Jamal never saw coming. Sarah, it's Ellen Crawford. In the back seat of her Mercedes, Ellen dials Dr. Sarah Mitchell, director of MIT's Automotive Engineering program. Rain streaks down the tinted windows as Chicago's skyline blurs past. Yes, I know it's been 3 years since we last spoke about Jonathan's scholarship fund, Ellen continues, her voice steady despite the emotion in her eyes. I think I've found someone. She glances at the business card she gave Jamal, still imagining his face when he held it, the same wonder Jonathan used to show when discussing his designs. A young man with real potential. Natural problem solver, understands social impact, comes from exactly the background Jonathan cared about. Someone who sees cars as solutions, not status symbols. Back at Crawford Industries headquarters, Ellen's executive assistant, Rachel Kim, receives unusual instructions over the phone. Pull together everything we have on community scholarship programs, automotive partnerships, and the Jonathan Crawford Memorial Fund, Ellen says. Also, I want background research on Jamal Washington, discreetly. I need to understand his full situation before we proceed. Within hours, Rachel compiles a comprehensive file. Jamal's academic records showing a 3.4 GPA despite working 20 hours a week. Stellar recommendations from Miguel at Rodriguez Auto Repair, calling him the most naturally gifted mechanic I've seen in 15 years. His family situation: single mother working double shifts, younger sister with college potential, financial struggles that would crush most families. But it's the character references that make Ellen smile. Teachers described him as the student who helps others without being asked. A youth center coordinator mentioning how Jamal volunteers every Saturday, teaching kids basic car maintenance. He makes them believe they can fix anything, the report notes. That evening, Ellen visits Crawford Innovation Labs, Jonathan's former workspace, preserved exactly as he left it 3 years ago. Blueprints for affordable electric vehicles cover the walls, designs focused on reliability and low-cost manufacturing rather than luxury features. His desk still holds sketches of safety improvements and fuel efficiency modifications. He would have loved to mentor someone like Jamal, Ellen murmurs to herself, touching one of Jonathan's unfinished designs. She calls a private meeting with Dr. Michael Torres, head of Crawford's Automotive Research Division. "I want to restart the Jonathan Crawford Fellowship Program," she announces. "Full funding, tuition, living expenses, summer internships, guaranteed job placement. But I want it structured differently this time. More hands-on, more real-world application." Dr. Torres pulls out dusty files. "Jonathan designed this program to bridge the gap between theoretical engineering and practical application. 4-year program, students work part-time at our labs while studying, graduate with both degree and professional experience." He pauses. "It's been dormant since Jonathan died," Ellen finishes. "I know, but maybe it's time to honor his memory by actually helping someone who embodies his values." By evening, Ellen has set multiple wheels in motion. MIT application materials being expedited, Crawford Innovation Labs being prepared for a new intern program, arrangements made for what will appear to be a coincidental encounter. Everything must seem natural, earned, not charity. In Jonathan's old office, Ellen sits holding a photo of her grandson at his MIT graduation. "I think you would have liked him, sweetheart," she whispers. "He has your heart." Outside the window, Chicago's skyline twinkles with possibility. Across town, Jamal has no idea his entire future is being carefully orchestrated. The phone call that interrupted Jamal's shift at the auto shop would reveal a connection he never imagined. 3 days after the City Hall incident, Jamal is elbow-deep in an engine rebuild, a 2015 Ford Focus with transmission problems, when his phone rings. Unknown number with a 617 area code. Boston. "Jamal Washington?" The voice is professional, female, with the confident tone of someone used to being taken seriously. Jamal steps away from the car, wiping grease on his coveralls. Miguel raises his eyebrows from across the shop. "This is Dr. Sarah Mitchell from MIT's School of Engineering. Do you have a moment to talk?" Jamal's heart skips. "I think you have the wrong person," he says carefully. "I haven't applied to MIT." Dr. Mitchell's laugh is warm, knowing. "No, but someone has applied on your behalf. Someone who believes you have extraordinary potential in automotive engineering." Miguel moves closer, unabashedly eavesdropping. He mouths MIT with wide eyes. "I can't reveal who nominated you, Doctor," Mitchell continues, "but they've provided compelling evidence of your mechanical aptitude, academic performance, and character. We'd like to invite you to campus for a special interview. All expenses paid, of course." Jamal covers the phone. "I don't understand this," he whispers to Miguel, who just shrugs with a grin. "Before the campus visit," Dr. Mitchell explains, "we'd like you to tour Crawford Innovation Labs here in Chicago. It's a new partnership program where our students get hands-on experience with cutting-edge automotive design." Crawford. The name hits Jamal like a bolt of electricity. "Crawford, like the housing project lady?" he asks, his mind racing. "I'm not sure I understand the connection," Dr. Mitchell says diplomatically, but something in her tone suggests she understands perfectly. The next week, Jamal takes the L train to the Crawford Innovation Labs complex. The building is sleek glass and steel, nothing like the grimy auto shop where he feels at home. In the lobby, massive photos showcase innovative vehicle designs, electric cars, hybrid engines, safety systems that look like science fiction. Dr. Michael Torres meets him with a warm handshake. "We're excited to show you what we're working on," he says, leading Jamal toward the elevators. "I think you'll find our approach to automotive engineering quite interesting." They walk down a hallway lined with patents and awards. Every few steps, Jamal notices the name J. Crawford on various innovations. Whoever this J. Crawford was, they were brilliant. "This was our lead design engineer's workspace," Dr. Torres says casually, opening a door at the end of the hall. "He died tragically 3 years ago, but his vision drives everything we do here." Jamal steps inside and freezes. The office is like a shrine to automotive innovation. Blueprints cover every wall, not luxury vehicles or sports cars, but practical designs focused on affordability and efficiency. Electric sedans priced under $25,000. Safety systems designed for families, not racing. Fuel efficiency modifications that could help working people save hundreds on gas. These are the exact kinds of cars Jamal has dreamed about designing. On the desk sits a framed photo. A young man who looks remarkably like Jamal, standing next to a prototype electric vehicle in what appears to be this very lab. Dark skin, intelligent eyes, the same build. The nameplate reads, Jonathan Crawford, lead design engineer. Jamal's hand goes instinctively to his pocket, where Ellen's keychain has lived since that day at City Hall. He pulls it out, the small silver wrench engraved with JC. "Where did you get that?" Dr. Torres asks, clearly surprised. "A woman gave it to me," Jamal says slowly, pieces starting to click together like gears in an engine. "Ellen Crawford. I helped her a few days ago when she was confused downtown. She said it belonged to her grandson." The color drains from Dr. Torres's face. "You're the young man who helped Mrs. Crawford," he says, not a question, but a statement of sudden understanding. Jamal sets the keychain on the desk next to an identical one that's been sitting there permanently, like a memorial. "Jonathan Crawford," Jamal reads from the nameplate. "Ellen Crawford. They're related." "Jonathan was her grandson," Dr. Torres confirms, sitting down heavily. "Brilliant engineer, passionate about social impact through automotive design. He died in a car accident 3 years ago, the same week he was supposed to launch this fellowship program." Dr. Torres gestures around the preserved office. "Mrs. Crawford has been searching for the right person to restart Jonathan's scholarship program ever since. Someone who embodies his values, his vision, his character." The room seems to spin around Jamal. "The scholarship, the MIT interview, all of this." He gestures at the sophisticated lab equipment, the groundbreaking designs. "Is it because I helped her that day?" "But not just because you helped her," Dr. Torres clarifies. "Because of how you helped her, why you helped her, and what you demonstrated about your character and intelligence. Mrs. Crawford told us about a remarkable young man who understood the importance of the housing project, who refused payment for his kindness, who reminded her of someone very special." As if summoned by their conversation, Ellen Crawford appears in the doorway. She looks completely different than she did that confusing, rainy day. Confident, commanding, every inch the billionaire CEO. But her eyes are the same, kind, sharp, and now watching Jamal with obvious affection and something deeper. Something that looks like destiny. "Hello, Jamal," she says warmly. "I believe you have something that belongs here." She gestures to the keychain on the desk, now sitting next to its twin. Jamal stares at her, understanding flooding through him like water through a broken dam. "Your grandson, the business card, the keychain. You're not just any Ellen Crawford. You're the Ellen Crawford, Crawford Industries." Ellen nods, tears threatening. "And you're not just any kind teenager. You're exactly the young man Jonathan would have wanted to carry on his work." "The confusion that day was real," Ellen interrupts. "A medication reaction that left me disoriented and scared. But finding you, meeting you, that was fate." Jamal looks around the office, at Jonathan's designs, at the photos of a young man who could have been his brother, at the woman who's been orchestrating his future since the moment he chose kindness over convenience. "So here's what's going to happen," Ellen says, her voice firm with decision. "Full scholarship to MIT, guaranteed. Summer internships here at the lab. A chance to bring Jonathan's designs to life, to create vehicles that serve families like yours. And when you graduate, a position here designing the future of affordable transportation." Jamal can barely breathe. "I don't understand. Why me?" Ellen's smile is radiant, infinite. "Because kindness recognizes kindness, Jamal. And because sometimes the universe puts exactly the right person in exactly the right place, at exactly the right moment." She pauses, watching recognition dawn in his eyes. Jonathan always said the best engineers come from backgrounds where they understand real problems. You are that engineer, Jamal. You are his legacy. The contract Ellen placed in front of Jamal would guarantee everything he'd ever dreamed of. But first, she had one more surprise. Ellen leads Jamal to the executive conference room, where legal documents are already spread across a polished mahogany table that probably costs more than his family's annual rent. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook Chicago's skyline, and Jamal can see the exact corner where this all started, where a confused woman sat in the rain 3 days ago. The Jonathan Crawford Memorial Fellowship, Ellen explains, sliding a thick folder across the table. Her voice is steady, businesslike, but her eyes shine with emotion. Full tuition, room and board at MIT, $2,000 monthly stipend for living expenses, guaranteed summer internships here at the lab, and a job offer upon graduation with a starting salary of $120,000. Jamal's hands shake as he flips through the papers. The numbers are staggering. Over $400,000 in total investment over 4 years. More money than his family has ever seen. More money than they've dreamed of seeing. Mrs. Crawford, he starts, but she holds up a hand. There's more. Ellen's eyes twinkle with the satisfaction of someone about to change lives. Your sister Maya. She's been accepted to Northwestern's nursing program, full scholarship courtesy of the Crawford Foundation. Your mother will receive a $10,000 grant to cover living expenses while you're both in school. Jamal stares at her in complete disbelief. You looked into my family? Ellen nods unapologetically. Jamal, kindness isn't just individual, it's systemic. Helping you succeed means helping your whole support system succeed. Maya's grades are excellent. 3.8 GPA, volunteer work at the community clinic. She deserves her chance too. And your mother has sacrificed enough. Dr. Torres leans forward, his expression serious. The fellowship isn't charity, Jamal. It comes with real responsibilities. You'll work 20 hours a week in our labs, collaborate on active projects, present your research at conferences. We expect excellence because we believe you're capable of it. Ellen activates a large monitor that descends from the ceiling. Detailed schematics fill the screen. Vehicle designs unlike anything Jamal has seen in car magazines or showrooms. This is Project Horizon, Ellen announces. Affordable electric vehicles for working families. Purchase price under $25,000, 300-mile range, built to last 20 years with minimal maintenance. Jonathan designed the core systems before he died, but we need fresh perspective to bring it to market. Jamal studies the blueprints, his engineering mind immediately grasping the brilliance of the design. Battery placement for optimal weight distribution, regenerative braking systems that extend range, modular components that reduce manufacturing costs without sacrificing safety. Imagine your mother driving to work in a car that costs $30 a month to operate instead of $300, Ellen continues, her voice gaining passion. Imagine families like yours having reliable transportation without crippling debt. That's what this project could achieve, and you could be the engineer who makes it happen. Jamal thinks about all the times his mom's ancient Corolla broke down, leaving her stranded after late shifts at the hospital. About neighbors choosing between car repairs and rent money. His own dreams deferred because basic survival took precedence over everything else. This isn't just about his future. It's about changing the entire trajectory of what's possible for people like his family. Dr. Torres pulls out another folder. The fellowship also includes professional mentorship. You'll be paired with our senior engineers, working on real projects from day one. No busy work or theoretical exercises, actual product development that goes to market. By your sophomore year at MIT, you'll be leading your own research initiatives. And the network, Ellen adds, walking to the window overlooking the city. Industry conferences, meetings with auto executives, connections with venture capitalists interested in socially responsible technology. You'll graduate not just with a degree, but with the relationships needed to create lasting change. She turns back to face him, and Jamal sees something profound in her expression. Hope mixed with grief, legacy mixed with love. Jonathan always said the best engineers come from backgrounds where they understand real problems, Ellen explains, her voice soft with memory. Wealthy kids who design cars as toys versus kids who design cars as solutions. You're the latter, Jamal. That's why this matters so much. Ellen walks to a cabinet and removes another framed photo. Jonathan at age 17, working on his first engine prototype in what looks like a garage. Grease-stained hands, determined expression, surrounded by tools and car parts. This was taken the summer before he started MIT, she says, setting the photo on the table. He was rebuilding a 1995 Honda Civic, trying to improve its fuel efficiency. Self-taught, just like you. He understood that the best innovations come from necessity, not luxury. Torres explains the timeline. MIT's semester starts in 8 weeks. We can arrange accelerated placement testing, housing assignments, and course registration. Your summer job at the auto shop becomes a summer internship here. Same hours, 10 times the pay, infinitely more learning opportunities. Jamal looks around the room at the sophisticated equipment, the detailed blueprints, the faces watching him with expectation and genuine hope. I keep thinking I'm going to wake up, he admits. 3 days ago, I was worried about making rent. Now you're talking about changing my entire life. Life-changing moments rarely come with warning, Ellen says gently, sitting across from him. They come disguised as ordinary Tuesdays when we choose to help a confused woman on the street instead of walking past. The opportunity was always there, Jamal. You just had to be the kind of person who would recognize it. Dr. Torres slides a pen across the table. So what do you say? Are you ready to honor Jonathan's memory by carrying his work forward? Ready to prove that kindness and brilliance combined can literally change the world? Ellen adds one final detail, her voice warm with affection. Your family will be taken care of. Maya's tuition, your mother's expenses, even Miguel at the auto shop. I'm funding an equipment upgrade for his business as thanks for training you so well. Everyone who invested in your character gets to share in your success. Jamal picks up the pen, then sets it down again. His hands are trembling. Mrs. Crawford, he says quietly, I need to ask you something important. Is this real? Like, really real? Because if I sign this, and it turns out to be some kind of mistake... Ellen reaches across the table and covers his hand with hers, her touch warm and certain. Jamal, she says firmly, this is the most real thing I've done in 3 years. You saved more than just my afternoon downtown. You saved my faith that there are still people in the world who do the right thing simply because it's right. This fellowship isn't charity. It's an investment in the future Jonathan dreamed of. With trembling hands, Jamal signs his name on the contract. The pen feels impossibly heavy, like he's signing his entire future into existence. Ellen witnesses the signature, then pulls out her phone. Maya, this is Ellen Crawford. Is your mother with you? I have some news about your brother that's going to change everything. 6 months later, the ripple effects of that rainy Tuesday were being felt across 3 states. MIT campus. Fall semester. Jamal thrives in his engineering courses like a plant finally getting sunlight. His practical experience gives him advantages over classmates who've only learned theory. When Professor Williams assigns a project on engine efficiency, Jamal's solution, inspired by techniques he learned at Rodriguez Auto Repair, improves performance by 18%. Exceptional problem-solving ability, Professor Williams writes in his evaluation, approaches complex systems with intuitive understanding rare in first-year students, clearly understands the real-world applications of theoretical concepts. Crawford Innovation Labs, winter break. Instead of going home for the holidays, Jamal spends winter break working on Project Horizon. His first major contribution, redesigning the battery cooling system using air conditioning principles Miguel taught him, increases efficiency by 23% while reducing manufacturing costs by $8,000 per vehicle. Senior engineers who've been stuck on the problem for months watch in amazement as this 18-year-old kid sketches solutions on a whiteboard like he's solving simple math. "Where did you learn this?" Dr. Torres asks. "Fixing broken AC units in Chicago summers," Jamal grins. "Same principles, different application." Chicago, spring semester. Maya graduates from Northwestern's nursing program with honors, immediately hired at the same hospital where their mother works. The local news covers her graduation. From housing projects to healing, local teen achieves nursing dream through Crawford Foundation scholarship. Their mother, Sharon Washington, drives her new reliable Honda, employee discount through Crawford's partnership program, to Maya's graduation ceremony. No more praying the car starts. No more choosing between gas money and groceries. Sharon herself is back in school now, pursuing her nurse management certification. Financial stress no longer consumes every waking moment, leaving room for dreams she'd buried years ago. Chicago Tribune feature story. From auto shop to MIT, local teens' act of kindness leads to engineering scholarship. The article includes photos of Jamal working in the Crawford labs, Maya in her nursing uniform, and their mother at her own graduation ceremony. The headline captures everything. "When helping others helps you, the Crawford Industries Fellowship story." But it's the sidebar that really matters, detailing how the Crawford Foundation has expanded its community investment programs based on Jamal's story. Detroit Auto Show, second year. Jamal presents his research on affordable electric vehicle infrastructure at a major industry conference. Auto executives from Ford, GM, and Tesla attend his presentation. His proposal for neighborhood charging networks using existing electrical grids gets a standing ovation. Afterward, a venture capitalist approaches with a business card. "When you graduate, call me. We're funding the next generation of automotive social entrepreneurs." Rodriguez Auto Repair, expanded Miguel's shop, has grown from 2 bays to 6, using the equipment upgrade Ellen funded. The new hydraulic lifts, computerized diagnostic tools, and electric vehicle charging station transformed the neighborhood garage into a modern automotive center. He's now training 12 young people in automotive technology, calling it the Jamal Washington Apprentice Program. 3 of his students have already received Crawford Foundation scholarships to technical colleges. "Jamal showed us that fixing cars can be about more than just making money," Miguel tells a local reporter. "It can be about building futures." Westside High School, engineering track MIT, and Crawford Industries establish a pipeline program at Jamal's old high school, offering summer internships and mentorship to students from his neighborhood. Enrollment in math and science courses increases by 400% as word spreads that engineering can be a path out of poverty, not just a rich kid's profession. The school's new automotive lab, funded entirely by Crawford Industries, buzzes with activity every afternoon. Kids who used to skip class now stay late to work on engine projects. Project Horizon success. The first Project Horizon vehicles roll off the production line in year 3 of Jamal's program. Affordable electric cars priced at $23,000, with 320-mile range and 20-year warranties. Pre-orders exceed 50,000 units in the first month, primarily from working families who've never been able to afford reliable transportation. The waiting list stretches 18 months. University of Chicago research study. An economics professor studies the Crawford effect, measuring how strategic investment in character-based leaders creates community-wide change. Results show that for every dollar invested in character-based scholarships, $7 in community economic value is generated through job creation, increased education rates, and reduced social services costs. White House STEM Initiative. Jamal is invited to speak at a national conference on increasing diversity in engineering. His presentation, Solving Real Problems for Real People, became a viral video with over 2 million views. The comment section fills with stories from other young people inspired to pursue engineering careers. "I never thought engineering was for people like me until I saw Jamal's story," writes one teenager from Detroit. National Crawford Fellows, what started as one scholarship has grown into a national program. 47 students from low-income backgrounds are now studying engineering, medicine, and social work on Crawford Foundation scholarships. They call themselves Jonathan's Legacy, supporting each other through a network Ellen established. They meet annually at Crawford Industries headquarters, where Jonathan's photo watches over a new generation of problem solvers. Economic Impact Report. The West Side Chicago neighborhood where Jamal grew up shows dramatic improvement. Unemployment down 60%, high school graduation rates up 85%, new businesses opening monthly. Real estate developers take notice, but community investment requirements ensure longtime residents benefit rather than being displaced. Ellen Crawford's simple philosophy, invest in character, watch communities transform, becomes a model for corporate social responsibility nationwide. All because one teenager chose kindness over convenience on a rainy Tuesday morning. 5 years after that rainy Tuesday, Jamal would find himself on a familiar corner, but this time he was the one offering help. Downtown Chicago, Tuesday morning, light rain doctor. Jamal Washington, now 22 and fresh from his MIT graduation ceremony, walks through the same financial district where everything changed. He's heading to his first day as lead design engineer at Crawford Innovation Labs, wearing a suit that actually fits, carrying blueprints for Project Horizon's second-generation vehicles. The morning feels familiar. That same Chicago drizzle, the same hurried business professionals, the same corner where destiny once called his name. He pauses at the exact spot where he found Ellen 5 years ago, now marked with a small bronze plaque Ellen had installed quietly. Jonathan Crawford Memorial Corner, where kindness meets opportunity. That's when he sees her. A teenage girl, maybe 16, sits on the same curb where Ellen once sat. She's soaked and shivering, clutching a soggy college application that's getting destroyed in the rain. Her clothes are clean but worn, the careful pride of someone trying to look their best with limited resources. She looks lost, overwhelmed, exactly like Ellen did that day. Without hesitation, Jamal approaches. "Hey, you okay?" She looks up with eyes full of tears and frustration. "I had my college interview this morning," she says, voice breaking. "Northwestern nursing program. But the bus broke down. I walked 12 blocks in this rain, and by the time I got there, they'd already filled the last spot for this semester." Jamal's heart clenches. This could have been Maya's story in a different timeline. This could have been his own story, if one kind act hadn't changed everything. "What's your name?" he asks gently, crouching to her level just like he did with Ellen. "Aaliyah," she responds. "Aaliyah Johnson." Jamal pulls out his phone, scrolling to a contact he never expected to need so soon. "Dr. Martinez, this is Jamal Washington." "Yes, Ellen's Jamal. I have someone you need to meet." He explains Aaliyah's situation, the bus breakdown, the missed interview, the dream deferred. Within 5 minutes, Northwestern agreed to a rescheduled interview that afternoon. While they wait for Aaliyah's ride, Jamal tells her about the Crawford Foundation, about Maya's success, about opportunities that exist for students who refuse to give up despite circumstances beyond their control. He hands her a business card, his own now, Dr. Jamal Washington, lead design engineer, with the Crawford Industries logo embossed in gold. Sometimes the universe puts exactly the right person in exactly the right place at exactly the right moment, he says, echoing Ellen's words from years ago. Your moment might be coming sooner than you think. Hope replaces despair in Aaliyah's eyes. A familiar car pulls up. Ellen, now 77 but still sharp, rolling down the window with a knowing smile. "Need a ride to Northwestern?" she asks Aaliyah warmly. "I happen to be on the board there." As they drive away, Ellen catches Jamal's eye in the rearview mirror and winks. The cycle continues. Kindness, creating opportunity, opportunity creating more kindness. That evening, Ellen calls Jamal at his new apartment. A one-bedroom in a nice neighborhood, worlds away from the floor mattress of his childhood. Aaliyah impressed everyone at Northwestern, Ellen reports. Full scholarship starting this fall. She wants to specialize in trauma nursing, help families in crisis. Jamal smiles, understanding perfectly. The circle never breaks. Later, walking into Crawford Innovation Labs, Jamal stops at the lobby display, a wall of photos showing all 47 Crawford Fellows. In the center, Jonathan's graduation photo sits surrounded by the students carrying forward his legacy. Below it, a new addition. The first Crawford Fellows graduating class, with Jamal front and center, surrounded by other students whose lives were changed by strategic investment in character. The inscription reads, "Kindness is the engineering principle that builds better futures." On the corner outside, a new bronze plaque is being installed. Aaliyah Johnson Memorial Corner, where hope begins again. The story continues, one act of kindness at a time. The corner where it all began now sees a new act of kindness every week, because inspiration spreads. Today, there are 150 Crawford Fellows across the country, each one discovered through an act of character rather than academic perfection alone. The program has become a model for corporations nationwide, proving that investing in kindness creates stronger communities and more innovative solutions. Jamal's story reminds us that the most ordinary moments can become extraordinary turning points. A confused woman on a street corner, a teenager with a kind heart, a decision to help instead of hurrying past. These small choices echo across generations, creating ripples that change entire communities. Every day, you pass someone who needs help. Maybe it's obvious, maybe it's hidden, maybe they're lost, struggling, or just need someone to notice they exist. The question isn't whether opportunities for kindness exist. It's whether you're the kind of person who recognizes them. Your Tuesday is waiting. Your moment to change everything might look like nothing special at all. What will you choose when it arrives? Like this story? Share it with someone who needs to believe in the power of kindness. Subscribe to Black Soul Stories for more proof that doing the right thing still matters. And tell us in the comments, what's your story of everyday heroism? Because the world needs more people like Jamal, and maybe that person is you.